If you are in the job market trying to get hired, specifically interested in a sales career, this will be the most useful video available to you on the internet, as we are going to cover sales interview best practices, specifically how to advance through each stage in the interview process to get the job offer. Secondly, we will be covering best practice resume tips, specifically the top 15 words to use on your resume. I will also be sharing the resume I use to get hired with no experience, no internships, no connections. And then finally, I have a special clip from 2017. I had gotten flown out to Boston to interview with Dell, and I recorded myself immediately before the interview. And I think number one, you'll find it interesting. Number two, you'll find it insightful how I got there with no experience, no connections. And number three, I didn't actually get the job. So hopefully you can do the opposite of what I told you to do in the clip so that you can ensure you get hired. If you would like to support the channel, hit the like button now and comment the 100 emoji down below for the algorithm. Our goal is 15,000 subscribers, so make sure you're subscribed now as well. Someone in my private membership community direct messaged me today in our group message, and he said, "Trent, I need your help." Within a minute of that message, we immediately hopped on the phone and I said, "What's up? How can I be of service?" He said, "I've heard you talk about your employer, fast-growing technology company, being a great place to work. I know that you've had an amazing career trajectory promoting from a sales development rep to a senior account executive. You 4x your income, you promoted 6 times, and there's a great future ahead. I want to do what you're doing." So what he did was he identified the employer he wanted to work at. He identified the specific job that that employer was hiring for that he felt qualified for, sales development rep, and he went ahead and applied. It's as simple as that. So if you were in the job market, that is the exact process to get an initial interview. It's as simple as that. Don't overcomplicate it. The key is just taking action. What he did was he then was contacted by a recruiter. The initial phone screening went well enough for him to advance to the next phase in the interview process, which is an interview with a sales manager for competence and aptitude, and then additionally another interview with the sales manager to determine culture fit. And that's going to be universal across many of the tech companies you guys are interested in working for. He said, "I need your help preparing for that interview with the sales manager. What do I need to know?" And I said, "Look, this is specifically what you can do to ensure you stand out. Number one, ask yourself, what is the purpose of that job for the company? Why would somebody give you a job? Why would somebody give you a title? Why would somebody pay you a fixed salary each and every year and offer you an incentive commission based on your performance? Why would they do that?" They would do that because you are going to help the company be more successful. As we look at most entry-level sales jobs, like sales development reps in technology or software, what you are paid to do is to generate pipeline, to set up initial meetings, to book demos. The reason pipeline matters for an organization is because the more pipeline there is, the more deals in the funnel, the more revenue that will eventually be recognized. So as an indirect result of your efforts as a sales development rep, you are helping the company make more money. That is the purpose of you being hired. It's not because you went to a great college. It's not because you understand the values. It's not because you just want it. That is why they're going to hire you and they're going to pay you. So go into that interview asserting, "Look, the reason that this job is important to XYZ employer is because ultimately you need to hire more of that role to make more money. Based on my unique experience, I am the most qualified person you have ever spoken with for this job for 1, 2, 3 reasons." And list out the bullets and say, "In order to generate pipeline in this role and consistently hit my quota month over month, what I am planned and prepared to do and have the unique experience for is that I am going to make more cold calls than anybody else on the sales floor. And I have demonstrated that hard work and scrappiness based on this past experience of mowing lawns or washing dishes like I did. Number two, I'm also interested in growing within your program. Employers are interested in hiring people that have the competence and the desire to come in and be immediate contributors because they are paying you a fixed rate, okay? And then you need to make them this rate to be profitable. So explain to them how you're going to help them do that. Number one, you just outlined your plan. Number two, I also want to grow within your organization. I am interested in being a leader. So my plan is to come in as an SDR, and this is what I'm prepared to do. Send more emails, make more calls, do whatever it takes to collaborate with my account executives to be successful. I want to promote up the program to become an account executive, because once I master pipeline generation, I am prepared to then go close more deals to help you generate more revenue. And then whenever I prove myself as a top performer in the region that I'm interested in working at, I want to be a leader. That is my desire and my 3-year plan for your organization. If you show up to your interview and you outline how you are going to do that and why you were most uniquely qualified, you 100% will get the job offer, and I'm confident it's going to work. In order for you to even get to the table to explain how you're going to do that, you need to have a resume that at least passes the eye test. So I'm now going to share my screen and talk about the 15 best words you can use to format your resume. I'm going to show you specifically how I have edited somebody's resume that they sent me to make it better using these words. And then finally, I will share with you my exact resume that I use so that you can copy the format for your resume. You may be wondering, Trent, how do I network with you? Will you review my resume? How do I set up a call with you directly to ask questions and get help for interviews? First and foremost, you can connect with me on LinkedIn and I answer any and all questions in the messages. I'm not as responsive as I can be because I simply don't have the time. But if you do want one-on-one response time, if you want to participate in a weekly live call where you can ask me live Q&A, and if you also do want access to the private membership community where you can network with myself and other members, direct message me 24/7, press the join button down below right next to the subscribe button. For $10 a month, you get access to all the benefits I just listed. We have over 36 members of highly motivated, driven people that think and act like you and I do. So it's a great community and I hope to see you there. These are the top 15 words to use on your resume when formatting your experiences. Achieved, improved, trained, mentored, managed, created, resolved, volunteered, influenced, increased, decreased, ideas, launched, revenue, profit, under budget, won. Somebody sent me their resume, I read it, I reviewed it, and I reformatted his experiences based on using these words and how I would express it to show the outcomes you have achieved. And as I get into this and talk through it, I want to acknowledge that I've made 50,000 cold calls on this headset. And number two, make sure to stick around for the video clip at the end of me ahead of my job interview in Boston. And there's actually a secret clip of me accepting my job offer at my current employer that nobody has ever seen. So what he said on his resume, point number one, booked 10 to 15 appointments per month of 75,000 average deal size. So that's not a bad sentence. He uses numbers. Anytime you can quantify your efforts, that's important. And number two, you need to express the outcome. As a result of my efforts, I have booked 15 appointments that resulted in $100 million in revenue, whatever it may be. So this is an example of how you can use one of the words to talk about an outcome. Achieved 150% of quarterly quota as a result of booking 15 appointments per month at 75K average deal size. So do you see what we did here? We went from just saying what happened to we achieved this outcome, and this is how we specifically did it. It's much more powerful and will resonate with the recruiter, hiring manager that reads through your resume. And it's important to also pass the eye test. I'll be showing you my resume here momentarily that helped me actually get my job. Maintain a pipeline of over 750 prospective customers on Microsoft Dynamics 365. So this is a good point, but it's a bit passive because I got by, but I do have some experience doing the sales thing, and I have experience with one of the tools I may be using. How I reformatted it: executed territory plan on 750 prospect accounts organized by revenue, employee count, industry. You see how that shows just a deeper level understanding and an actual outcome and a skill set that the employer does find desirable. Next, introduced 5+ partnership opportunities with other vendors that would enable the company to earn $20,000 in revenue. That is actually really good what he said there. But what I did was I condensed it. And I said generated $100,000 in revenue through influencing 5 new strategic partnerships. Basically saying the same thing, but quantifying it and actually having a more eye-popping, bigger number. $100,000 in revenue sounds better than just saying I had 5 partnerships at this per whatever the value per partnership is. And you see how we're actually starting with the outcome, because it says, wow, generate $100,000 in revenue. How did you do that? I influenced 5 new strategic partnerships. Boom. Social media marketing. Edit and produce 3 videos each week for Trent Dressel, a sales YouTuber with over 10,000 audience members. Shout out to you, the audience member. If you're still enjoying the video, hit the like button now if you haven't already, so that other people can get this information who may be in the job market like you. So somebody is helping me So I said, I'm going to help them. So think about this. When you reach out to people like myself and you say, hey, Trent, can we set up 30 minutes? I'm probably going to tell you no, unless there's you have a great reason why. I, of course, want to help you. I just don't have the time. But people that reach out trying to offer value first, such as this person who has been helping me edit, that's why I said, hey, I'll look at your resume. I'll do whatever I can to help you. It's all about that exchange of value, and think about that. So how we reformatted that: managed growth campaign with Trent Dressel's sales YouTube channel, generating 300,000 impressions and increasing AdSense revenue by 15% month over month. Boom. That absolutely pops off the page. If I were a hiring manager or recruiter reading this interview with this sales experience and additional skill sets of showing hobbies outside of the office, specifically in the sales profession, and social media understanding, that is somebody that absolutely gets that initial interview. We are now looking at the resume that I used to get hired as a senior at Ohio University right out of college. No connections, no formal internships, and it's very basic. But what I did do in college was I used the resources and low-hanging fruit at my disposal. I went to our career office and I said, hey, I need help with this. So they gave me a nice professional looking format of how to format my resume to look professional. As you can see, it passes the eye test. It's one page, it's got different fonts, everything's spaced properly. So look at your resume. When people send them to me, I say, if it doesn't pass the eye test, I just say, no, it doesn't pass the eye test. That is point number one to take away. Does it pass the eye test? This formats the page perfectly. Number two, what is the actual content of the resume? So as you can see, we have my education up here. GPA 3.5. I had a terrible GPA. I had a 3.1 into my sophomore year at one point. So that's how you can improve it over time. I got a 4.0 my senior year. The way I was able to do that was by beginning to read books and focusing on self-development. I worked at Ohio University as an absolute, I don't want to call it a BS job, but IT business services. What does that even mean? It doesn't mean anything. I was connected with professors through my student organizations, aka we reframe it campus leadership, and that is how I got a job at Ohio University. That was the first thing on my resume. I worked like 2 hours a week and I just watched YouTube, but technically it sounded professional. Next, I never had a former internship, but what I did do was I found a summer job at a local university, Hawken College, which I'm sure you've never heard of. Very low-end state college. I wouldn't even call it a state college, community college. And I was an enrollment navigation manager. Once again, I was somebody who helped people sign up, but I reformatted it. Enrollment navigation manager, enrollment in a warehouse, and then I did a cool international excursion through my university. And then as you can see, I never really had formal job experience like many of you, so you're probably ahead of me. But what I did do was I was super involved and got connected with the right people, and I held leadership positions in student organizations. And these are the experiences I spoke to in the job interview. And this is an example of how you can format your resume to get the job.
What's going on, guys? Trent Dressel coming at you live here from my free hotel room here in Boston. You wouldn't believe this place. Humongous free couch here, large screen TV. The other side of the apartment, it's amazing. What I want to talk about here today is how I got here. A lot of people keep saying, Trent, how does someone like yourself from Ohio University, no background in sales, get the chance to be flown out for free by Dell EMC, one of the largest private health technology companies, to come out to Boston and interview for them? So I'm going to tell you about my process really quick and how I got here. So the way it starts with anything you want to achieve, you have to first set a goal. Many months ago, I put it out there, I wrote it down, I put it out there all over the world and said, I am going to get a technology sales job in a big city. That's bottom line. I know that's going to happen. I'm going to make it work. So that's number one. Number two is every action and decision from that point on, when you make that decision, must be in alignment with achieving that desired outcome. I've read many books, reach out to many people, face rejection, not care. You have to have a very tough skin and just refuse to be denied mindset. And that's how I got here today. Leading up to the interview here today, a couple things I've seen throughout the process is a lot of people have let me down. They've said they will do things for me. They said they would call me and help me out. A lot of people just didn't come through. A lot of people like to talk, but not a whole lot of people like to act and follow through. So I want to hear about your guys' experience with people maybe letting you down in the past with any sort of scenario situation. But that's besides the point. I have a tough skin. I'm not going to be denied. I'm ready to go here today. I'd like to talk about what some of my keys are that I'm thinking about right now going into the interview. First and foremost, I'm going to bring a lot of energy and have a better attitude than every person in that room. That's just the bottom line. That's one of the few things you can actually control, and I know I can control that and do it better than most people. Number two is just simply going in with confidence. The power to do springs from the confidence that you can. I'm confident, I feel that I can do it. I'm gonna go in and execute. And three, it comes down to preparation. I know I put in the work necessary to do it. It comes down to I'm gonna outwork you. It's as simple as that because I know I'm gonna win. That's what it comes down to. I'm ready to go. So let me know about your guys' experiences being let down in the past or some of the goals that you're maybe hoping to achieve, and wish me the best of luck. Thanks again for listening, and let me know and we'll see how it goes. Thanks. What's going on, guys? Just out here in the city of Boston with my friend Nicolette. She's taking some Polaroids. Pretty cool city, honestly. Like a couple cool buildings sitting out here near the public market. Just want to let you guys know what's up here. About to sign with Qualtrics. Love the buildings and everything, but I think I'm gonna like the mountains a little more. Silicon slopes. About to learn how to ski bum status. You know how it goes. So about to sign on the dotted line here. Let's check it out. Right here. Signing for Qualtrics. Want to let you guys know what's up. We're headed to Utah. Let's go.